The Arctic certainly is an important frontier. I don't really spend so much time up there. I don't regard it as a frontier anymore, but certainly an important border for people who live in Alberta and for people to understand that we're northern oriented here. Not just because we have cold winters, but we've had a long involvement in Arctic development and have a right to consider ourselves the jumping off spot for a lot of Arctic development, not only the engineering, but also, if you like, the social part of it. Much of the Arctic development was just small community-based until the early 70s when the oil and gas business took off and we had the Arctic gas pipeline project and we had oil development and the like. So a lot of engineering was centered in Alberta, and the underpinnings of modernizing permafrost engineering for how to design pipelines in the Arctic and foundation and the like actually came out of our group at the University of Alberta. And many of us, including myself, were involved in some of the key hearings like the Berger Commission and so on that dominated Arctic development until it all ended at the end of the 70s. That is Alberta-based engineering and using some of our technology from the University of Alberta, actually built the first oil pipeline buried in permafrost in the middle 80s, which was a small pipeline from northern Alberta to Norman Wells that Enbridge operates successfully to this day. The next phase of development came, I suppose, with the diamond work more recently over the last decade, and now some more gold and other development elsewhere in the Arctic. I would add, over this period, we've developed in Alberta tremendous consulting companies who work not only in the Canadian Arctic, but take their expertise, growing out of their opportunities to learn and practice here elsewhere. So they're working in Alaska, they're working in Russia, wherever there's cold region stuff. We have people, our Alberta community have people working there. Some of the more recent challenges have been the diamond developments. The Diavik mine, which I think is probably the richest diamond mine in the world, about an hour and a half flight north of Yellowknife. In order to get it going, one had to design a dam. It's underneath the lake. One had to design a dam to hold back the lake while this very substantial excavation was taking place. And I was part of that team on the review board for that, and that involved an investment of close to $400 million just to get the mine going. There's new development for gold mining going on today. For me, the future of the Arctic, in terms of creating employment, creating better social and health and educational benefits, is intimately tied to the resource development. It's hard to imagine tourism being a big enough industry to provide the well-being for the communities up there. So the flywheel for me is a better strategy for resource development. And the strategy isn't just opening mines, the strategy is also to take the royalty revenue and put it into fiscal instruments so the communities afterwards can become self-sustaining. If we have the mines and we spend all the money, then we're not going to solve the issue of sustainable communities. So that's a sort of a brief summary of my relations and some of the other relations for Arctic development.